November 8, 2023. There it is. When you understand algorithms, Las Vegas Raiders Super Bowl, LV3 by Durango Dank. And then you have, do you mean Las Vegas Raiders Super Bowl LV3? So when you think about how close they've come to getting into the Super Bowl and what they need to do to get into the Super Bowl, and it's what is amazing is how artificial intelligence will give us structured content that are the keys to what people want to happen in the future and where the event's going to happen. So when you look at this here, Super Bowl song, stadium, Las Vegas, entertainment capital of the world. And everything leads to the next storyline because artificial intelligence can now take what everybody's talking about and give you a good idea where we all might end up. So with the Raiders, unequivocally, they have to completely go stealth. They need to all go into some type of a commune together, live, breathe football. Like they did when they were kids, man. How important it was when you played that street game. Street game was more important than even going to football practice. That's how I played. That's how we played. So, and there were people that were on some teams in high school that wouldn't even play street ball with us because they knew it was serious. So, and people would watch the games. It was pretty awesome time, but we don't do those times no more. But that's not why we're here. Why we are here right now is to be able to show the Raiders why this is the most important win of their whole legacy. And they're celebrating in the end zones for scoring a touchdown. Does not win Super Bowls. Going right to the sideline, staying on point, thinking about the game. Do not deviate. Put the blinders on. Act like a Budweiser horse. Get those huge blinders on. You can only see one way. Don't do commercials. Don't watch TV. Get to know the player on the other side. With his head, when you play the game, you'll know everything about the guy. Get into his head digitally. Get into his head when you play the game. So these are the things that players don't know about because it's artificial intelligence. And so when you understand artificial intelligence and the way to think as a team to where you cannot be sidetracked for any reason, none at all, period. Vince Lombardi said it best. Look up Vince Lombardi sayings. Find the one you think would fit the Raiders. It's how you think, baby. Because what you think, what you say, is what you're going to do. But you can't be sidetracked. And if you look at all the teams that have played and won the Super Bowl, and you look at their social, see, this is what AI can do fast. You just got to know how to do the algorithms. So I do. And right now, Raiders have a really good chance. They just got to get their minds, the Durango Dank's missing from this conversation that the Raiders put up. So right now, this is all about the Raiders, man, and Vegas and the safety of everybody. Whatever perimeter they have to protect us, go out go out 3 more miles radius. You never know. So right now this is a big game and we have to just prepare. Everybody has to keep their eyes open. Everybody has to watch out and be prepared to help the first responders. We don't run, folks, and we don't leave our first responders out there in the field by themselves. Okay, you might not have a gun, but you got a rock. You got something else. Our main objective is to protect our first responders and our police force that are there to protect us. And you'll see how bad when we let our guard down. What could happen in the smaller cities that don't have the big police forces. That is for another story. But when you think about the entire story, when you look at the bigger picture and the love for football and what the Raiders have gone through, this is their time in their city, in their Stadium. And right now, that conversation hasn't developed all the way because they're not thinking correctly, because their team doesn't know what deep mind is and what artificial intelligence is and how you can look it up and tell what the weak points of your team is doing. You can tell what all the weak points of all the other teams are doing if you just know how to do the whoop-de-whoop. So for me, the Raiders, and I'm a Raiders fan when it comes to their fans and how their fans just are dedicated, most dedicated fans I've seen, um, and their will to protect their um, territory, like their gang, and I respect that because they're all like that. They just haven't gotten together to where they're all, hey man, we're gonna go home another day. We don't need to, we can yell and cuss at each other, and but not get violent. It's just game. So the players don't get violent on the field. When they do, they get penalized. But when we out in the fans get violent, people get killed. So what's the penalty? He's not doing it, and that's the whole ideology behind football and where we're going to go with it, and stop using it for political, because it just destroys itself, and we can't do that. Football's football. That's all it is about football. Nothing else, nothing more. Teams go there to battle. They get heated. There's penalties. There's losers, and the winner is the Super Bowl. And so when Las Vegas Raiders, Allegiant Stadium reportedly will host. That's 2 days ago. So when and see missing Durango Dank. Um, yeah, it's amazing when you understand what that means. You'd have to ask their IT people. Not everybody's dashboard has the same dashboards. You got to be tied in deep, deep mind, babies, deep mind. Anyway, so that's the whole skinny on the Raider, uh, on how they got to win the Super Bowl. And they got to get in every little niche they can, or anybody that might have an angle. They need to put their ear to the ground and pick that stuff up and use it. Superstition, all that crap goes out the door when you have everything in your pocket, because you got it. Your base is covered. And right now, they don't have their bases covered, or I wouldn't be here telling them right in front of them. Not only the last year they had an opportunity to win the Super Bowl. Now I haven't broke that down, but that's an indication there that there's something there that I need to um, examine, pull that whole thing apart. Well, no, I don't. This is what I wanted up here at the top. Down here, this is what you want, or you want me to know about. This is artificial intelligence communicating with you on what exactly is it that you're looking for in regards to whatever this is up here. And up there is just Las Vegas Raiders Super Bowl LV3 by Durango Dank, because I know these things. And so it's like having I don't know what you call it, but all I know is, like, if you click on this, it gives you I guess I'll click on it and see what happens. Las Vegas. That was Super Bowl last year. Las Vegas Super Bowl event. Um, See, do you want to have a Super Bowl event with the Raiders when they're not playing in the Super Bowl? Yeah, they can because that's their city. So no matter what, they're going to have a good time. But they'd have a better time if they won the Super Bowl. And so it's also these little tidbits of information that you can read about what's slowing down or what's speeding up or where they are by reading this content, listening to this content that is just, this is the this is where you get information on the for team managers and players of where you guys are in your metaverse of football and where you are in your conversations. People ask. People also ask. See, everything is voice indexed. Our voices are the new voice latent prints that we are going to need to be able to access our telephones, our bank accounts, you name it. And it'll require a fingerprint as well if you've already activated that on your devices. Um, so everything that we do now is indexed with the new digital DNA of the GPS and cell phone tower pings and the way they can actually migrate all the information they need based off those locations. And then you're able to take the dates of those locations and go into a person's cloud and extract content that they may have under audio files, MP3 files that are automatically recorded on your device, depending on who you are, and where you are on any lists that certain entities keep tracks of you. So that's that in a nutshell. But the good news is we can learn to use it for the betterment of whatever it is we all are trying to achieve. But right now, the Super Bowl is the only thing that the Raiders need to focus on achieving and keeping everything else out the way. Get people in there that can motivate you on the street level of how things really are. And I'd rather see the Broncos go, but there's no way. There's no help for them. There's nothing in it for them right now. It's going to take them a couple years, and we need to stop thinking that we're going to get any coach and get us to the Super Bowl next year. And that's the expectation. And when they celebrate in the same thing, when they celebrate in the end zone because they scored a touchdown and they act like they won the Super Bowl, because when you think about it, in order to go do that celebration, you're taking your mind off the game of football and you're going and doing whatever shenanigan, dance, hoorah that you're trying to impress somebody out there in the world of sports, in your sports, and they really want to see you win all the time, not just sometimes, or just get a touchdown. So when your players are celebrating and over celebrating, and you don't just win, take this football, take the score, go. When you've won 3 Super Bowls, okay, in a row, then you can celebrate every game. That's what I think. But when you're not and you've got a record and you're doing dances and stuff, everybody takes their mind off the game. The ones that don't are the ones that win. And those that can do the dancing and all that and go to the Super Bowl, guess what? They deserve that. Why? Because they're in the Super Bowl. And they were able to be super confident enough to do both. And that is the ticket. Can you do both?